Okay, in this video we're going to take a look at the G07 monitor chassis and specifically the horizontal width coil. The horizontal width coils on these monitors are kind of known to break. Now, this is the G07 chassis and it's a pretty easy repair to do. Here is the horizontal width coil, and as you guys can see on this one, it's hanging on for its life. They get brittle and they crack over time due to the heat, and this is just one of those things that's known to go on the G07 chassis. Luckily, you can still pick them up from various suppliers out there, and they're about $10 a piece. To get it out, we're only going to need to desolder 4 points on the back here, and it's marked W404 at that location. Let's see if we can get that in right there. So there it is, W404 right here. We'll desolder those 4 points and we'll be able to remove the horizontal width coil and put in the new one. So we're gonna go ahead and get ready to do that. Let's go ahead and open up our new G07 horizontal width coil, make sure everything's good. Here we go. So here's the new horizontal width coil. We'll just double check our leads and make sure everything is good. And this is just like a a giant resistor that can be adjusted. Now when you do adjust these, you put your adjustment tool in here, kind of where that Allen Allen key would go, but except it needs to be a plastic one. You don't want to shock yourself when you're adjusting that part there. So let's go ahead and we'll start by removing the old one. We'll put our other one off to the side. So here is that horizontal width coil. It's the one that's flopping around here. And just as far as a point of reference, so here is the flyback with the flyback adjustments, and here are all the monitor adjustments. So when you guys are looking at the chassis in a monitor, you're usually seeing this side of things. And the horizontal width coil is often in the back and kind of hard to get to when it's in there, but you can usually make do. So there we go. That's kind of where the orientation is. But we're going to flip it over. We'll go ahead and desolder this out of here. And here are the 4 points down here, marked with the W404. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're going to be desoldering in this area here where the W404 is. Just like to make sure I keep pointing it out every time. And we'll use our solder pult to help remove the solder. And here we go. So you can kind of see the solder actually comes out nice and easily. You should be leaving yourself a little hole in there if you guys can see that. We'll go ahead and we'll do the other side. Now I will say that sometimes you get the solder out and you might have to come back with a soldering iron to heat it up and get the rest of it out. So as you guys can see, it goes pretty quick. Now this is this chassis here is actually out of my Ms. Pac-Man cocktail table that's kind of hiding in the back of the garage. I picked that up a long time ago, back when I had to rent a U-Haul to get all those games. And it had been converted to Trivia Whiz. Now, alright, so if you guys see this on my solder pult here, there's a little bit of solder there. Sometimes that happens, they clog. You want to get that out of there. Just pull that out. So if you find your solder pult clogging, just go ahead and clean it out. Alright, let's feel it from the other side and see how loose it is. So this is sometimes when it's nice to have an extra set of hands. But one thing with these larger components, kind of want to make sure that these legs are free. So this one here, this wiggle's free. Okay. Let's see, this one here is not free. This one here, not free. None of them. So one trick I was doing, of course it probably won't work now, is that I would apply a little bit of pressure. So I've got, for example, this leg here is, well, it still has a little bit of solder on the backside. So first we clear out the solder on the backside here. And then what happens is it's still attached here. So I'm going to push in this direction towards my left as I, with the solder pult, as I put some heat on it, and that way it should move. So you got the heat on it, push it a little bit. There we go. And then we should be able to get it free that way, because it's such a big component. So let's see. Did we get it? It should be close. There we go. So those are free, and this one was free. There, yep, that's free. And so they're all free. So it should slowly come out from the top. Let's see if we can get this horizontal width coil out so we can put the new one in. Alright, so here's the horizontal width coil on the front side. We're going to see if we can get it out. It is moving. Alright, you can see it. So like if we look, yeah, I know the top's moving, but the bottom is moving too, so just gotta work it out. Oh, look at that. It came off. It came apart. These horizontal width coils, I tell you. Let's just rip them out. There we go. So here is the old horizontal width coil. We're just gonna kind of make a note of how it went in. So this is how it was in. Okay. We pulled it out straight out like this. And if we look at the diagram here, it's got, let's see, the two marks down in there. Let's see if we can see that. You know, the little squiggly line thing there. Or for the coil, it's on the left side. So we look at this. I always just try to put things in back the way I got them. So we'll look at the bottom. As we look at the bottom, we flip it over. The way the two coils attach are to those two legs on the left. The two legs on the left were the two legs where the coil mark was on the PCB here. So that's how we're going to put it in. So here's the old one, here's the new one. So I'm going to make sure that it goes in this way because the two wires for the coil are on my left side here. Oh, I'm sorry, well, this is the old one on the left, but there are the legs on the left and the legs on the left. And we're just going to put it straight in like that. We'll solder it in place. So it'll go in these holes here. Like so. We might have to bend the legs a little bit to get them lined up, but that's where it's going to go. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to kind of bend these legs in and just use a pair of pliers and do it gently. So these ones are already nice and straight and these other ones are out. The ones with the coil attached to it were straight. We'll just test fit it, make sure it goes in. Alright, coil side to the left. I can feel it wants to go. There we go. So our horizontal width coil's in. We're going to flip it over. Make sure that it's in all the way. Let's do that real quick and check. Yep, so there it is. Right here. We've got our 1, 2, 3, 4. Zoom in. So we got our 4 legs. We'll go ahead and solder them in, and we're done for this. As far as replacing it goes, we will need to adjust the horizontal width coil, but we'll have to connect it to a monitor to do that. I'm not going to do that now, but I will show you what the tool looks like to do that. So let's go ahead and solder those in. So we'll go ahead and we'll solder our 4 legs in. It will take a little bit for it to heat up. It is a big piece. So we'll do a couple and then we'll okay. There's one. Sometimes I like to go to opposite corners. Put a little bit of solder in, and then once it's hot enough, you'll actually see the solder go to that piece. If you're putting solder in when it's not hot enough, it just kind of balls up. And there we go. There's all 4 soldered in. Let's go ahead and flip it over, check to make sure it's nice and sturdy. So there is our horizontal width coil right here, and as sturdy as it's going to be. Let me get out the tool real quick and show you how to adjust it. So I'm using Bob's plastic alignment toolkit. You can't get it anymore from Bob, but there are other TV adjustment toolkits out there. These are plastic, okay, and on the end this is the shape of the, you know, like an Allen key. Although it could be tempting to stick an Allen key down there, don't do it. Make sure you use an adjustment tool. So you're just gonna put it in here and you're gonna turn left or right, and you'll do that with the monitor on so you can see it getting wider or not. You just adjust it as you see fit. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up the G07 horizontal width coil installation. It's pretty quick, easy to do. You just have to desolder 4 legs and solder in the new one. They're bigger components, so sometimes it takes a little bit of extra time to get them out, but just keep working at it and wiggling it, and eventually you'll break free and it'll fall right out if it hasn't already. If you guys have any questions, as always, feel free to let me know, and I'll do the best I can to answer them. Remember, I'm no professional. I'm just some guy staying off the streets. So, there you go. And here is the inside of that old horizontal width coil. That's what actually turned. So the cable, let's see, that coil would be bound to that, and this would turn. So if I stick my adjustment tool in here, you can see that turning. We can do that a little bit closer. Too close. There you go. It just screws in and out. That's all it does. Okay. Alright guys, thanks a lot and take it easy. As we watch my arms go in front of the camera there. Okay. It's got our 4 leads on here. And we'll make sure that everything is lined up when we put it in. And I'm running out of what?